Hi guys, it's me again, Rocky here, with yet another one of my videos on the software and installation. We are going to be looking today at, we're actually going to be getting into some of the cool stuff. We're going to be looking at group policies or GPOs and group policy objects, that is, GPOs and organizational units. Now, the Windows Server has these functionalities through Active Directory, and it is basically, well, the group policies is actually an essential way that most organizations enforce settings on their computers. It's flexible for even most complex scenarios, but it's actually um, easy to use for very simple scenarios, like probably not allowing your end user to be able to install programs and stuff on the actual PC that they're working on, right? So just a little bit of a background in terms of what or an explanation of what group policy objects are, and they are actually a collection of settings that define what a system would look like and how it would behave for a defined group of users. Now, Microsoft provides a program snapping that allows you to use the Group Policy Management Console. The selections result in a group of policies or a group policy object or a GPO, and it associates with selected Active Directory containers such as sites, domains, organizational units. And what it actually allows you to do is define registry-based policies, security options also, software installation and maintenance options. Right. We go on to the organizational unit, or the OU, which is actually a container within the Microsoft Active Directory domain, which can hold users, groups, and computers. It is the smallest unit in which the administrator can assign group policy settings or account permissions. Right, an organizational unit can have multiple organizational units in it, but all attributes within the containing OU must be unique. Active Directory organizational units cannot contain objects from other domains. So now that we have a bit of a background on what the organizational units and the GPUs are, let's see how we can actually start having some fun with these guys. So we actually start with the organizational units. As I say, these are the smallest set of units or groupings that we actually have, and we can put computers and users in this group, this organizational unit, so that we can administer them with ease, right? And then we have the GPOs that more or less the OUs can be members of. What can be exciting is the ability for the administrator to look or lock down specific functions that the end user can and cannot use. Right? So, for example, if it is you want to remove probably the control panel so that the user can't access it, or maybe the task manager, right? These things can be done, and it kind of enhances security. Now remember, security isn't only where a hacker comes and attacks your system, or somebody steals the actual machine, but something that can be considered as an insecure system is where users have the ability to have free reign on the machine, right? Some users who may not be as tech savvy as others would try to install many programs that they shouldn't be installing on the system, and may even be full of viruses, and may eventually crash the entire network. Now, to kind of limit the amount of administration woes that will go into that, using group policies would help to reduce the amount of availability of access that a end user has. So obviously, if you don't want to blanket the entire organization with different restrictions, but you want to be able to restrict different type of users. So for example, if you have an accounting department, it has certain things that the data entry clerk wouldn't be able to have access to, merely because you don't want them to be interfering with things they shouldn't be doing, and you want them to be more focused on the actual job at the time. So you can actually remove a lot of programs that they can be accessing to on the internet. You can actually it's very plausible for you to restrict some users that are placed in different groups. Right, so that's basically what the whole GPO and the organizational units are actually geared to. So what we're going to do, firstly we're going to start administrative tools, and as we all know, this is where all the administrative tools that we need are. So we go to Active Directory users. Alright, we go back to start again, and then we go to group policy management. Right. So we have the group policy management console comes up, and this is our forest here, the rockhouse, right, .com. Right, and it has all the different, in terms of the different domains, right, the rockhouse domain, group policy modeling. Now all these are empty because obviously we haven't done anything to it as yet. Right, we have the default domain policy, enforce no, right, but we will get into this as we go further along. The rockhouse domain, right, and we have all the other folders underneath the domain. But first, what we're going to do, we go right click here, go to new organization unit. So here is where we actually create the OU, or the organizational unit, right? Name it accounts, right? Oops, sorry. Right click, accounts, okay. So after we have just created the accounts, so this is the accounts operational unit here, right? And now we go down here to group policy objects, right click, new, and what we're going to do is just name it, give it a name, GPO name, accounts GPO, I guess. Alright, and that's it. So what we have the account GPO, and we also have the accounts organizational unit. So now that we have the accounting GPU up, we'll just right click edit, and you'll see some of the functions or some of the different folders that you have the availability to make changes to. Alright, so we have here computer configurations, user configurations. Let's try user configurations, policies, and you see here where you have software changes, software settings, Windows settings, administrative templates, um, a wider range of different things that you can actually make changes to. Right, so if you look at the administrative templates, you have the control panel, and with the control panel, we'll just widen this a bit. With the control panel, you have add remove programs, the display, personalization, printers, all these different things where we have access to. Active Directory, desktop, right? Shared folders. So all these different folders, folders that we can make policies to govern. So if we click on these folders here, you will see all the different settings that you have that you can actually make changes to. Like for example, add and remove programs, specify default category for add programs. We have personalization, prevent changing of color scheme, prevent changing of theme, enable screensavers. All these different settings we can actually set for the user, or for the end user themselves, right? So when we go down to this all settings folder here, what you will see is basically a large section here with a lot of different settings that can possibly be actioned, right? Move all the way down here to even possibly allow drag and drop or copy paste files. I'm looking for here, it's in alphabetical order more or less. Turn off displays of thumbnails. A large cross section of settings. So here we have all settings, and all settings brings up this entire page here of different settings. So now that we can see all the different settings that can actually be activated. I'll say all settings, and you see all the different settings here. We have remove volume control, and they are very specific items that can be seen here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just test with remove the task manager. Alright, so as you can see, it's not configured. So highlight it, right click, edit. Right, and as it says here, it's not configured. It has a previous setting, next setting. We have not configured, enabled. So you need to enable it. And once you enable the remove task manager, you click apply. OK. Alright. Now remove task manager is actually enabled. So what this means is once we have enabled a remove task manager, that's exactly what it's going to do. Now it's actually linked to the account, the GPO that we created. So anything or any machine that is actually affected by this group, or this GPO, this group policy, will not be able to use their task manager. So we have the account GPO with the task manager removed. So what we need to do now is link, right? We need to link this with this here, with this domain. So with this organizational unit, we need to link the GPU to that. Right, so we could create here or just link an existing. So we link an existing GPU, which we have the account GPU, and we click OK. So now the accounts organizational unit has the account GPU in it. Now at present, this very It's basically it's just basic because it doesn't really mean anything unless we actually have users that can be assigned it. So here we go. And after we created the GPO, which is the accounts, and we come back into the server manager here, go into the Active Directory. The accounts GPO is now in this. So now we have no users assigned under the accounts GPU. So what we need to do is get users. So we go to users, and we'll go down to this user here. So we right click, right, Rocky, and move. But first, what I want to show you before we actually do this, let's go back to the actual account. So this is the Windows 7, the Rocky account. And if you right click here, you see that the task manager icon comes up. So you can actually go to the Windows task manager here and deal with all the other settings that we have for task manager, right? So we see that this user can actually access their task manager, right? So now we go back and we right click move, right, and we move the user into the accounts. Click OK. So now it's out of the users tab, and you go into accounts and you see that the Rocky user is under the accounts GPO. Now what this means is that every single policy that was created under this GPO, under the accounts GPO and under the accounts OU, would apply to the Rocky user. So we go back to the Windows 7 client, and here we will log off. Alright, log off here. Now remember, once you make a setting change or a policy change, you need the users would need to log off from the system to be able to actually be activated. Now log back on. So after we have right clicked and we go back, you see that the task manager is graded out. So no matter how much we click, we would not be able to get the task manager up and running, right? So here we go again. So thank you very much for looking at this video. I hope that you have received some valuable information. So now that when you go to your organizations, you can start to manage properly those end users using the GPO and using the operational units correctly. All right, so this is Rocky again saying thanks, bye, enjoy the rest.